In this short video, we are going to listen to probably the biggest Tesla bear there is, Gordon Johnson, and we're going to stop a few times and pull apart some of the arguments that he's making, and then we're going to wrap up with a summary as to why he's fundamentally misvaluing the company.
I believe there's a gross dereliction of duty happening on a broad and mass scale when looking at the analysts covering Tesla stock using this excuse, as well as the media who's parroting what Elon Musk is saying. Here's the math. They entered Q3, right, the quarter that just finished, with a record 106,000 units of inventory.
Hold on there. 106,000 units in inventory globally? Where would Tesla even park that number of vehicles? That just doesn't sound right. I know there's vehicles on trucks and in transports and on trains and whatever else, but that number seemed incredibly high to us, so we looked it up. According to TeslaInfo.com, it looks like it's less than 8,000 vehicles. So let's say with all of the vehicles in transport, they're up to say 30 or 40,000. That I could believe. So I don't know where he's getting these numbers from.
This is based on their numbers, right?
Yeah.
They produced 430,000 cars. That's down 49,000 versus last quarter. They produced 435. They sold just 430. So their inventory, if you take the decimal, actually dropped just 4.5 thousand units, despite the fact they have 106,000 units of inventory. This is not a production problem based on that math. This is purely and simply, and this isn't even a car discussion. This is just, elementary production, manufacturing, etc. This is just a demand problem. They cannot sell what they're producing even when they scale back production. Why is that a problem, real quick? Because they're valued at more than the next 9 largest automakers combined, despite the fact that they sell just 3.1% of the cars those automakers do. So Tesla's valued as if their deliveries are going to grow exponentially every quarter. They just dropped significantly. This company's grossly overvalued. It's becoming undeniable to admit that.
So you think that Tesla would have just dipped into those inventories more if there had been demand there for it?
That is a great point. Great point. You are better than 99% of the sell-side analysts, Wall Street covering this stock to say that. It's very simple. If demand is greater than supply, which is what everyone using that excuse, including those in the media, suggests, then if you cut production, the cut in production, which was 49,000 cars sequentially in Q3, will eat directly into inventory. So that inventory should have dropped 49,000 cars. It dropped 4.5. They cut production to match demand.
Well, that's one way to look at it, but I don't think that's accurate. We're just looking at the numbers from their most recent quarterly call, and the numbers look pretty healthy to us. I mean, the S and the X, they're going down because they've always been going down. They're just going to eventually stop making sense. But they're tiny volumes. 15,000 versus 400,000 for the 3 and the Y. Well, as you can see in the graph here, looks to us like the Tesla hockey stick is coming along quite nicely.
Because the way you go out of business as an automaker is producing more than you can sell. And that's a good thing, but that means Tesla is grossly overvalued.
So when it comes to demand for Teslas, I mean, there was an expectation that there was going to be a fire lit under it by the price cuts earlier this year. So you don't think that that's had the effect that many thought it would?
It's not about what I think. I mean, we've done a lot of things for the past few years. And admittedly, there's been times we've been wrong on the stock, probably due to QE. This isn't us being bears anymore. These are actual numbers. Their deliveries fell like over 20,000 units sequentially. They produced they delivered just 5,000 more cars than what they sold, despite entering the quarter with a record 106,000 units of inventory. There's no longer any doubt. They have a demand problem. And
okay,
so
this
is a demand problem where, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So what is Tesla getting wrong then? If it cut prices, so that seems like it would be something that might satisfy potential customers. What could it do better, do you think, to get the demand side of things up?
That is a great question. So here's what happened. COVID was a godsend for Tesla. Let me explain. What COVID did is it basically limited. You remember the big auto parts shortage, the chip shortage?
Yeah.
It takes 2 years for an auto company to qualify on a new chip, right? Automakers weren't willing to skirt that safety process. Tesla was qualifying in new chips in 2 weeks. So temporarily, Tesla had more cars available than the entire industry, and they were able to increase prices on those cars. That caused their margins and earnings to shoot through the ceiling due to COVID. This was all temporary. So what's happening now? Everybody has product, so their margins are collapsing back down to where they should be, and their demand is collapsing back down to where it should be. Where that is, I don't know, because they're still discounting cars. Day one in Q4, they're discounting cars. But what Tesla got wrong, it's not what they got wrong. It's just they were very aggressive when you had the temporary shortage. They put chips in their car that they only tested for 2 weeks. And now you're having all these issues with their cars.
Well, this one he sort of got right. As somebody that's owned a 2019 Tesla Model 3 and a 2021 Tesla Model 3, and somebody that's owned 6 other electric vehicles, I feel I'm qualified to comment on this. And I can say that, yeah, some of the fit and finish issues with Tesla have not been as good as they should be. The emergency braking out of the blue is unpleasant and scary. Sometimes just decides to stop when it's driving, which is not cool. And I've certainly found Tesla's self-driving to be downright dangerous when it comes to 3 things. One is lanes that are splitting or coming back together, so 2 lanes down to 1 lane. When there are guardrails, it has more than once lurched towards them or away from them. That's not cool. And thirdly, emergency vehicles and emergency situations. So, vehicles in the ditch, lights flashing with fire trucks and whatever else. Yeah, I found this to be a little hairy. But that being said, overall, I'm still quite happy with the Tesla product, and I still plan to buy another one. But it is an issue with Tesla products that there are quality issues, although, to be clear, I don't think they're worse than any of the other manufacturers. In fact, I think they're substantially better.
But now that everybody has cars, there's more supply, same demand. The demand for Tesla's cars is imploding, as are the prices, because the real rate, the steady rate demand for their cars is nowhere near where it was, despite the stock being valued as if demand on that level is going to grow. That's why their margins are collapsing. That's why they're having these problems. These are structural issues. They're not temporary.
So as far as the bears go, the quality issues, yeah, there's something there, but there's always something there when it comes to vehicles. But much more importantly, I think they're wrong because they're unable to express how the product volumes are actually declining. They say it is, but the numbers just don't bear it out. The numbers are actually still going up in a nice hockey stick format. However, that being said, the valuation of Tesla, and when I say valuation, I'm talking about the market cap, is insane currently. That's assuming, however, that you value the company based on its current and near future value, as in how many vehicles it produces, how much profit it makes. What these bears are missing is that Tesla has 2 additional things that are fundamental to the valuation of the company. The first is they have 2 million pre-orders for the Cybertruck, the next big product. Now, that number is a fiction, and I think most people recognize that, including Tesla. At least I sure hope they do. For instance, they're taking deposits on the Cybertruck from people in Belgium, and the likelihood of the Cybertruck being sold in Belgium anytime soon, pretty slim. So let's say that their 2 million pre-orders, which have small deposits on them, so they're actual, real, say they actually convert that to 750,000 pre-orders. Wow, that's a gigantic number that any car company would love to have. That is years of production. Then there is autonomy. And autonomy isn't just the profit that they can make from selling their autopilot service on existing Tesla vehicles, on the fleet that's already out there, the millions of them. It also forgets about robotaxis. So if Tesla can convert their autopilot into robotaxis, that valuation, that ad, just for the robotaxi portion, is massive. Now, I don't know if they can do it, and personally, I think the Tesla valuation is crazy. That being said, I own some Tesla stock, and I'm holding it. So while I think these bears have some points, I don't think that their extreme numbers are realistic, and I don't think people should be panicking listening to them. Hey, if you found this video useful, please give us the big thumbs up. If you like this kind of thing, please click subscribe or comment. And if you want to get a hold of us directly, you can at www.partisanissues.com, or you can leave a question or comment below and we'll get back to you, or somebody else will, because on YouTube everybody has an opinion. Thanks, bye-bye.